Welcome to the Celetha Riley Show, where we inspire individuals from all facets of life to reignite their faith, strengthen the family dynamics with healthier relationships, creating a productive culture for many generations to come. On this show, you'll gain so many positive tools that you can implement in your daily life to live healthier and wealthier. Listen to the end. The last point is crucial. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to each and every one of you all. I am Celetha-Beautiful-Riley. I'm a wife, pastor alongside my husband, Prophet David Riley. We are leadership and personal development strategists as well as wellness ambassadors, a part of Tava Lifestyle. And guess what, you guys? We are so excited. Listen, we want you all to make sure you are following us on all of our social media platforms. Facebook, Celetha-Beautiful-Riley, Instagram, DC Riley Tava 1. Make sure you share the flyer, share the post, because tonight we have a great topic of conversational piece that is literally going to open your mind, and it's going to shift your spirit tremendously. I am smiling, you all, because I just feel so great in my spirit. I feel so good. So it is our prayer that you all have had a phenomenal day thus far. And if you have experienced any type of hiccups, breathe through it. That's what we call heated fellowship. Hiccups. Breathe through it and continue to press even the more. And thank you guys, our listening audience, for tuning in each and every Tuesday evening here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And those of you that are on the international world, we say welcome. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and make sure you connect with us. Not going to hold you, because this topic of discussion is so good, you guys. It is so good. We're continuing on with our faith series, and if you've been with us for the past few Tuesdays, you know we brought forth some great conversational pieces that really help the family, with the children, the teenagers, the small ones. So many great tools were dropped down on tonight. We're talking about relationships. Whether you're single, married, a divorcee, a widow, or you're engaged, tonight's topic of discussion is really going to cause you to think and say, aha. Yeah, you're going to have an aha moment, and it's going to help you say, you know something? That is why I've been experiencing so many different things. Or you may be able to understand why your spouse, significant other, or other individuals around you have been going through different things. Their behavior patterns have been off, and then you'll understand what it is that you can help them with. Okay, you all, let's come on in. We're going to be talking about on tonight. You're going to just fall in love with this title. My soul is tied. What? Yes, my soul is tied. I know many of you are like, wait a minute, what do you mean my soul is tied? Shouldn't it say tired? No, my soul is tied. Many individuals are in relationships, whether you're single, you're married, you're divorced, or a widow, or you could be engaged. And at first, I was thinking of titling this the couples edition, but no. After having a conversation with my husband, I said, listen, honey, everyone can relate to this topic of discussion. Whether you are a single, you're married, as we are, or you've experienced divorce, or a widow, or you're presently engaged, you really can relate to this conversation. Let's go ahead and dive in, you all, because this is good. When you think about relationships, when you think about having interactions with individuals, sometimes you have to stop for a moment and ask yourself, is this God sent? Did God send this individual my way? Or am I in a vulnerable state? Am I open? Am I lusting? Am I just trying to appease my flesh? What is it? How did I get in this situation? And there are several areas that I'm going to talk about on tonight. When you think about relationships, especially those of us that are married, you have to ask yourself the question, is it a covenant, contract, or a convenience? And then you're going to understand why our topic says, my soul is tied. Open your mind and come on with me. My soul is tired. Someone is sleeping in my head. Wow, amazing, isn't it? Yes, because guess what, you guys? When we're in relationships, we begin to talk to one another, and some of us go out on dates, and then we open ourselves to go even further, allowing ourselves to be intimate. But have you allowed yourself to heal from past traumatic experiences? Have you allowed yourself to heal from past toxic relationships? Have you broken those soul ties? Soul ties can come in many type of ways. They can come in sexual, of course. They can come in with behavior ways. They can come in habit form. And, of course, by us interacting with individuals, meaning being in relationship with them, we pick up these soul ties because we open ourselves up to them. We open our emotions. We open our mental. We open our womb, meaning we have intimate relationships. We open ourselves to these type of behaviors. So therefore, our soul begins to get entangled. Our soul begins to be like a spider web. Why? Because there are so many attachments that have attached themselves, meaning so many different behaviors, so many different attributes. You could find yourself acting like your ex, or acting like your present person, or acting like someone you were in a past relationship. Those are soul ties. And you wonder why many individuals are unstable, unhappy, miserable, and often go from relationship to relationship to relationship. They're never satisfied. They're never happy. They're never complete. There is something always going on. And listen, you all, this is so good. We may have to do a 2-part series on this topic, because, to carry on next Tuesday evening, because it's just that good. Listen to me, you all. As I'm talking about my soul is tied, your soul is where your emotions dwell. Your soul is where you feel you're passionate and you can begin to fall in love or lust. Your emotion, your feelings are open, and that's a very, very soft spot in a very vulnerable state. And guess what? As I'm talking about covenant, contract, or convenience, that is what happens when we're not thinking logically. When we're not thinking from a right mind frame, and we allow our soul to be tapped into, and we haven't really gotten over those past traumatic experiences or those past breakups, those different individuals that we've came in contact with, meaning we had intimate encounters with, that is how we become entangled. Yeah, we've heard that word all over social media, with several people being in entangled relationships. Well, guess what? Truth be told, their souls are tied, meaning there are some soul ties that have connected that weren't broken. And you have to break those soul ties. Listen, you all, it is so important. And many individuals have to ask themselves this question: how did I get here? How did I get here? You have to pause for a moment. Some individuals, when they go through relationships, they don't like to be alone. They have to be in the company of someone. They can't spend time alone with themselves. I encourage you to take time to get to know you. Take time to go on a discovery path, meaning you're going to discover who you are, your likes, your dislikes, things you may encounter that you don't feel are comfortable. You have to begin to address those areas. And, of course, you know us, we're pastors, right? And we specialize in the area of deliverance. And many individuals will say, well, counseling can help. Well, guess what? Counseling does help, but there are some areas that counseling won't tap into. And us as deliverance ministers will go deep into those areas, because those soul ties, they are real. Those soul ties can place you in a position that is deadly, uncomfortable, unproductive, and literally it can hinder you from moving forward, having healthy lives or having healthier relationships, because you are not aware of what is going on within your spirit. You can't get a grasp on it. You're struggling trying to figure out what's going on. Why am I attracted to this type of person, and this person isn't any good for me? Or how did I get here? As I just posed that question, how did I get here? Well, let's revisit our past for a moment. Take a moment, and if you are someone that is single or married, and you're having some type of issues within your marriage, you have to revisit your ex, meaning those ex relations that you were once a part of. Even if you're a divorcee, you have to revisit those paths, P-A-T-H, and recognize what did you allow to take place. If you are a widow, you must revisit these areas. And if you are engaged, you definitely need to pay close attention, because you want your soon-to-be spouse and yourself to have a healthy, fruitful relationship, right? And in order for any of these to transpire, you must ask yourself this question: how did I get here? Once you revisit those things, if you find yourself still thinking and pondering on your ex or something from your past, you have a strong desire, you just can't break that feeling, bam, that soul tie is there. If you find yourself easily triggered, or you're desiring, you're lusting, you're engaging in different type of activities that you know aren't healthy for you, wow, that soul tie is there. If you find yourself doing things that are unseemly of you, but you still do it and you know it isn't good for you, it's not healthy for you, wow, that's a soul tie that is sitting in your soulish realm that you must address. You have to. Because guess what? It's not going to fade away. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to lay dormant. As soon as something triggers it, it's going to rise up. So until you say, one moment, wait, let me go on this discovery zone. Let me take a few months or so alone, myself and God, to get to know who I am, and to get these things out of my system, out of my spirit, out of my soul, denounce them. In order for us to gain great success or get the good, we have to acknowledge the bad. We have to acknowledge what has gone wrong. We have to acknowledge the doors that we've opened. We can't run from it. I remember the song, Look at the Man in the Mirror. Well, it's time for us to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and identify, hey, I allowed this to happen. I played a role in it. I don't like it. It's still in me, and I can't shake it. And until you go before God and you ask God to give you total deliverance in that area, you have to identify it. It is not going to go anywhere until you acknowledge it. This is what it is. This is how it took place. I took part in it, but I'm ready for this thing to be done and over with. I'm ready to have a healing in my soul. I'm ready to be revived in my soul. I'm ready for the true me to come forward. I'm ready to drop all these bad habits or all this negative energy, this toxicity that's been sitting in my soulish realm, preventing me from having healthy relationships. So again, that is how many of us, yes, we do get in a covenant relationship, but there are some of us that get into contracts. What do you mean, Celetha? Contracts, there are benefits attached to it. What can you do for me? Okay, I'm going to stay in this relationship with you. If you purchase me a car, a home, give me money, that's a contract. And that's a soul tie, because they're only there for financial gain. They're not there because they truly love you and want to be in a long-lasting, healthy relationship with you. They are only there for a beneficial reason. Now, these soul ties, they'll also lead you into a convenience. This relationship is only out of convenience. Hey, they may need a temporary place to lay their head, and they look at you as an opportunity. They know you're a loving, sweet, giving person, and guess what they are going to do? They're going to pretend it is as if they're interested in you. They want to be with you. They're preying, P-R-E-Y, on your vulnerability. And you're just so head over heels in love, thinking you found Mr. Right and it's Mr. Wrong, or you found Mrs. Right and she's Mrs. Wrong. Why? Because they are predators. They are preying on your weakness, your vulnerability. They really don't want you. They're there until they can get themselves in a better position, and they're on to the next one. So that's why it is so important that we go on this discovery zone, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone that's listening under the sound of my voice, it is so important that we take time along with ourselves. I learned this over the years. Yes, I learned it over the years. And it can hinder you. You can go into many relationships broken, confused, angry, mean, bitter, resentful because of the previous relationships, the previous partners. You've opened your soul, you opened your wound, guess what? You've had relations, meaning you and them have laid in the bed chamber together. I'm going to curve it cute. You've had relations together, and you have allowed your soul to take on every soul that they've been in relations with as well. So it is so important. It is so important, you all, that we understand the importance of my soul is tied. It really is. Instead of it being tied to my spouse who I'm with, instead of, it being in a healthy position, loving, flowing, happy, joyous, no. You're still tied to something or someone from your past. It could be someone in your presence right now that has more space in your mindset, in your heart, and in your soul than the person who should. And we're going to go a little deeper, you all. It is so important as we're talking about my soul is tied. Have you ever sat and wondered why you can't get over an individual, why you can't get this person out of your spirit, why you're constantly thinking about them, why you're longing to be with them, and you're in a relationship now, you're married now, you're engaged now, your soul is still lusting, your soul is still connected, your soul is still desiring to be with that former person. And the person that you're with now, no matter what they do good, they can do the greatest of the greatest things for you. But because that barrier is there, your heart is open, your soul is open, you're still attached to this former thing, and you refuse to disconnect from it, your present spouse is suffering. And remember, God isn't going to force his will upon you. Your will and your desire has to be so strong to break this soul tie, to come out of this sexual soul bondage, this financial soul bondage, this emotional soul bondage, this mental soul bondage. It is so important that we understand how various soul ties can affect us mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, in all areas of our lives if we do not take a moment to go on the discovery zone or the discovery path and sit down, rest, go on a sabbatical and learn who you are and get those things out of your spirit. And I guarantee you this, when you go on this journey and you discover who you are and you break those soul ties out of your wound, you'll begin to see the real you, those layers of anger, those layers of resentment, those layers of bitterness, confusion, uncertainty, unable to complete a task, a project, or go forward and have healthy relations, healthy conversations, your mindset where you can focus clearly. All of those things won't happen until you acknowledge what's wrong with you. You identify everything, because you can acknowledge it, say, yeah, this is going on. But if you don't identify and say, I was in a relationship with A, B, C, and D, and by me having relationships with this individual, this is where this soul tie came in. You have to identify it. You have to. And once you do that, wow, you gain so much power. And then your strength is going to increase. And then you're going to spend more time with yourself and God in a healthy way, talking to yourself. That's when those affirmations come in. I can do this. I will do it. I must. You will speak. You will denounce all of those negative things that are in you that are preventing you from going forward, having healthy relationships. You will denounce those things. You speak them out openly, and you won't be afraid. And then you have to incorporate the word of God. And I'll share more of that at the end. Listen, you guys, it is so important. It is so important as we'll continue on with our faith series. This is why so many individuals are struggling in their faith. They don't have faith in their relationships. They don't have faith in themselves. They're wondering, am I going to do something to cause this relationship to fall apart? Can I have a healthy relationship? Will I ever be married again? Can I heal from this past traumatic experience? What can I do? They have so many different questions pondering in their mindset. And guess what I want to say to you all? To help you rebuild your faith and your belief in yourself. You can break these soul ties. So your soul won't be tied, meaning connected or attached to anyone any longer. Because God desires for you to have a healthy, loving, and fruitful relationship. My husband and I can attest to these things. We understand the importance of soul ties. And when your soul is tied, you don't have any rest. You're not resting. You're not comfortable. You're always antsy and on edge. You're always antsy and on edge. We're talking about it on tonight. God desires for us to have a covenant relationship, meaning He's all in the middle, all around, all there. Not a contract. What they can do for you, and as long as they're doing these things for you, you'll treat them a certain type of way. And of course, we don't want to be in a relationship out of convenience, because when someone is in your presence and they're only with you out of convenience, that is worse than being in a contractual relationship. That is literally emotional bondage. And then they'll abruptly leave you, or they'll find a reason or find fault within you, and then they'll leave you. So let's continue on. And as I shared again, how did I get here? Ask yourself the question, those of you that are listening, our listening audience. How did I get here? Something from your past, a past failed relationship. Something went on, something took place. And therefore, that soul tie was deposited in your womb. Then another relationship and another relationship. And I often tell individuals when we have counseling sessions, you have to go back to your very first intimate encounter. Yes, you have to revisit it. Some people may say, oh, I don't like going back to my past. Well, in order for you to heal, healthy, whole, and complete, you have to revisit some things. I did not say stay there and ponder on it for a long, extended time. Once you revisit it, that means you acknowledge this is what took place, what you can remember. And some things are cast into the sea of forgetfulness. We don't remember because God doesn't desire for us to do so. But those things that He wants us to remember, He wants us to revisit, there is a reason, because He desires for us to be healed, whole, and complete in those areas. Now, once you revisit it, you acknowledge it, and you identify what took place. Now you're going to take action. That's when maturity takes place. You're not going to allow your emotions to overconsume you, and you're crying, you're sitting there in a pity state, and you'll continue to go over and over and over, because guess what? If you allow that to happen, then you're going to continue to open more doors. You're going to compromise. That's how so many individuals have tapped into open relationships, inviting other individuals into the sacred bedchamber. Why? Because they've gone from lusting and the thought of this individual in their head. Remember, I earlier said someone is sleeping in my head. Now they're acting on it. Don't you know those soul ties are deadly? They're not healthy at all, because if you lust over it, once you lust over it, you're going to visualize yourself. And then you're going to desire for it. And then you begin to compromise. And once compromising takes place and you act on it, listen, you all, that is deadly. That is not healthy at all. And then you intertwine extra soul ties from all different parties. And guess what? That's a destructive place to be in. That is a destructive place to be in. And many individuals have opened their wound to various things, and that is why they're unable to maintain a healthy relationship. And then they pressure their spouse or their significant other to take part in these type of behaviors, and then they wonder why their spouse begins to rebel. Those spirits, those soul ties begin to torment them, and then they begin to continue on that type of behavior, forming patterns. But it is our prayer and our hope on tonight with our faith series, as we're talking about it, My Soul is Tied. We're sharing with you how these things can transpire, how they gain access, and what it is that you should do in order to stop it. It can be stopped. It can be stopped. How can it be stopped, Celetha? What are you allowing in your home? What are you allowing in your home? What is my home? Your home is your temple, your body. What are you allowing into your gates, your ear gates, your eye gates? What are you listening to? What are you looking at? Have you and your spouse had the conversation of soul ties before? Have you both prayed and asked God to deliver you from past failed relationships, past toxic events, traumatic experiences, exes, whether you dealt with lust, all type of sexual stronghold, bondages, all type of outside entities that can damage your relationship? Have you both gone before God or you as an individual and asked God to give you a thorough cleansing of deliverance in your soul? To break, to detach, to remove all unhealthy soul ties, everything that's detrimental to your soul that will prevent you from having a healthy relationship. Again, what have you allowed in your home? Who have you allowed access to your home? Who have you allowed access to your temple? Your temple, your body is your home. That is where all of those great things, your mind, your will, your memory, your intellect, your imagination, your intellectual, everything dwells in your home. How are you feeling? What type of conversations are you having? What are you speaking over yourself, to yourself, through yourself? What type of conversations are you having with your children, your spouse, your significant other? What are you speaking? Because words have power and words definitely have meaning. Do you know you can word curse yourself? Do you know you can speak life and bring abundance to yourself? Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Something to really ponder on and think about. I told you all tonight's segment was going to be good. And listen, you all, on the Celetha Riley Show, we have great conversational pieces for the family, for the entire family, that will help you heal from past traumatic experiences, past failed relationships. Even those things that you've encountered and brought upon yourself, we will have those type of conversational pieces that will give you a total healing in your soul once you listen and then you apply and you continue to go forward on your journey of growth and healing. Yes, you will achieve greatness. And, of course, we're going to help you with abundance, wellness, gaining financial literacy, all of those great things. But this is the foundation, your faith, your faith. We have to visit what has gone wrong, because until we visit what has gone wrong, we won't be able to achieve the right and maintain it for longevity, for long life. We have to break up some things. We have to clean out some areas. We don't want to pile things on top of things. Remember, Mama used to say, don't you sweep that trash under that carpet because it's going to pile and pile. No, we're not going to sweep anything. No longer are we hiding anything. Here on the Celetha Riley Show, it is our prayer that all of these great conversational pieces that we bring forward will truly give you a healing in your soul, because it will help you identify, this is why I've struggled. This is why I have not been able to have healthy relationships. This is why my child or children. This is why my spouse struggled. This is why I struggled. Your aha moment. Your aha moment. Now you can identify what has gone on in your relationship with yourself, your significant other, your spouse. You can really say, wow, that is what was going on, and I could not put a hand on it because their soul was tied. And many men as well as women, they don't understand these dynamics, and they don't really like to address these areas, and they try to avoid the conversation. But tonight we're going to have the conversation. We're going to continue to have healthy conversational pieces to help you continue to evolve, because this is how you will tap into your true mental growth, because you'll cast down those things that have been holding you hostage. You can identify with your son, your children, your siblings. You'll understand why many people around you struggle in various areas. Their soul is tied. It's tied to something that was unhealthy, that kept them in bondage, and they were unable to break it. And many, they recognized it, but they didn't know, or they didn't have the necessary tools or teaching or guidance to help them overcome those areas and tap into their true selves, okay? So again, to do a quick overview of what we're talking about on tonight. At first, I was going to title it the Couples Edition, but then I said to my husband, no, everyone can identify. single, married, divorced, widow, engaged, even our young adults. That's why it is so important, mom, dad, everyone, to have them to chime in as well, because we have family-friendly conversations, but it's going to be a little mature, but it'll help them. So therefore, when they begin to date, they will know what to look out for, and the door will be open for them to come to you, mom and dad, and have healthy conversations. Say, well, you know, I like this person, but I recognize this about them. And then in return, you can say, well, you know what? Let me share with you what's going on with them. And then you can begin to tell your son or your daughter, well, we're going to pray for them in this area. And that is our next point. What do you do when you recognize that your soul is tied? You have to come up with an intervention, right? You have to come up with a plan of action, right? There are some things that you must do, right? Once you acknowledge it and then you identify it, now you have to take action. Because until you take action, nothing is going to happen. It'll just sit there. And no, we don't want you to run behind your spouse, your significant other, and say, oh, you have an unclean spirit. Oh, you have a this and you're that, you're that. No, you're going to get in your secret closet, your prayer closet. Men as well as women, you're going to go before God. But before you go before God, you're going to write down those things that you see in them that are not right. You're going to write down those things that you see in yourself as well, that you know you tapped into a soul tie. You open your wound up. You allow someone to sleep in your head and in your bed that should not have been there, right? So what do you want to do? You have to write those things down. You have to identify it. And guess what? No, I did not say tell your girlfriend, your BFF, your mom, these different. No, you have to go before God yourself for clear instructions on what to do. This is a private journey between God and yourself, and you're concerned for yourself and your significant other or your children, someone close to you. This is what you have to do. You go before God. And as you have written those things down, yes, you're going to cry because it's going to touch your heart, because you want all of those things to be broken. You want those things to be broken, dismantled, removed off of them. I don't know about you, but I, as a pastor, we specialize in the area of deliverance. And when I see someone bound in their soulish realm, bound in their spirit by a strong force, a stronghold, it troubles me very bad. And I just say, my God. So this is what you will do. First things first, you're going to pull out paper and pen or pencil, or you're going to pull out your cell phone, and you're going to begin to write down those things that you recognize. They have bad behavior, use profanity, addiction, be it sex, drugs, alcohol, shopping, abuse. Every addiction that you can recognize on them, you write it down. You recognize the patterns, your behavior, how it switches on and off. You get angry for no reason. You say things abruptly. You curse them out. Write it all down. The same thing with your spouse. The same thing that you recognize. You write these things down. And when you write these things down, you take this before God and say, God, this is what this individual is dealing with. Their soul is tied. There is a war going on in their soul. Their soulish realm is still tied to this individual they were dating, they had intimate relations with, and this is why they are still acting in this manner. God, I need an intervention. What should I do? And then you're going to go to Scripture. We always, at our ministry, the Temple of Faith International Ministries, we have a package together. And we have Scripture references in there for deliverance, for healing, for strength, for all type of many areas to target. And remember, you have to target the stronghold. So we can't be afraid to speak those things that are not as though we will have God to do it. We can't be afraid. God did not give us a spirit of fear. No, He did not. No, He did not. And that is why it is so important. And yes, we embrace both areas of counseling and ministry. We embrace them both, because some individuals want to go to counseling. Well, my counselor will help. And then their counselor give us a call and say, guess what? I can't help them in that area because they need deliverance. You know, there are some things that have to be broken, and we will give them interventions and tell them, well, this is how you will be able to help them. This is how you can assist them. The both go together. Medicine and ministry, they go together. God created them both. So that is why it is so important to be in a Bible-based, grown, solid teaching ministry that will teach these areas, that cover these areas, that will help identify these areas and break these things off of your soulish realm. Break it out of your will. Yes, your will has to be open in order for anything to take place, because God isn't going to go against your will. Your will must be open for all of these things to be broken off. And once your will is open, you are going to continue to go forward with everything within you. You're going to learn. You may have some bumps and bruises along the way, but I want to encourage you on tonight, do not stop. Do not stop. Because the more you continue to put in the work, the more you continue to exercise these principles that I'm sharing with you, the more you begin to see yourself in the mirror growing, those soul ties being broken off of your mind. Your mind. Remember, the Bible tells us that a double-minded man is unstable. That is why a lot of individuals are unstable in their mental capacity, because these soul ties. And yes, we understand mental illness. It is real. It is very real. We don't say that it is not. It is real, you all. It is real. Break it off your memory. Don't sit there and ponder over and over. They did this, that, because you are feeding it. You are causing it to fester and continue to rise up, rise up. Your intellect. Stop saying, I'm dumb. I'll never find someone to love me. I'm just going to settle for. You are speaking death over your destiny. You are canceling out your own destiny, and do not allow anyone else to word curse you. That is what word cursing is. When someone tells you you're good for nothing, you won't never be this, you're good for nothing, you're like your dad, you're like, no, stop them immediately, and do not allow anyone to word curse someone in your presence. No, no, no. Speak life. Even if you feel that you feel that way at that moment. Change your mindset and say, I won't be this way always. Okay? We talked about your mind. Your will has to be open. Your memory, don't sit there and ponder on it over and over and over and over. No, no, no. Begin to visualize yourself healthy, whole, complete, laughing, in a healthy relationship with one individual, loving them. They're loving you. You're having conversation. They're listening to you. You're listening to them. Visualize yourself doing it and say that it will happen. Okay? Come on, we have to. We have to. Don't speak word curses over yourself. I'm dumb. No, you're smart. You're intelligent. You are bright. Yes. You are loving. You can do it. Oh, we have to continue on these conversations to strengthen the family. This will strengthen the whole family dynamics, and the foundation is solid. And it will rebuild our faith and our belief in relationships, in healthy relationships, husband and wife, in marriage. Then we can curb this divorce rate, because we can identify, I see now what's wrong with my spouse. I see now what's wrong with my significant other. I see why this person goes through that and so many things. Now you understand. Now you understand. Soul ties are real. And many of you are crying out, my soul is tied. I don't want to do this. I don't want to act this way. Why do I continue to do these things? Because your soul is still connected to something or someone from your past, or even in your present that has left or still there tormenting you. But tonight, it is our prayer that as you are listening in, that you will understand that you can be free, because the Bible says who the Son set free is free indeed. You can be free in your soul. You can break these soul ties. You can live healthy. You can live in abundance. You can smile and laugh and love again. But you must first do the work. You must first go on the discovery zone of your life. You can revisit. Once you revisit, you acknowledge. And once you acknowledge, you identify. And once you identify, you take action. And when you take action, you write down all of those bad attributes. You write down all of those toxic things. You write it all down, even from yourself and those that you dated. And once you write that thing down, you acknowledge it and you say, this is what I used to be. This is what I used to allow in my soul, but it's coming out today. I'm going to get everything that's not like God out of me, and I'm going to stay before God and make sure I get it all out of me. Get it all out of me. And ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all so much for tuning in. I am Celetha Hi Beautiful Riley. Should you like to continue this conversational piece, you can reach me by email, dcrileyministry@gmail.com, because this is an intensive conversation that needed to be had. It is a must, because we're for family. We're for marriage, husband and wife. My husband and I, David, have experienced so many different things in life. So therefore, we have the knowledge, the expertise, and the anointing of God to help you through whatever it is that you are experiencing. And if we can't help you, we have many individuals in the medical field as counselors, as psychiatrists, and therapists that we can navigate you to. But of course, we know with us working together, God will definitely give you a healing in your soul. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you all again over here on tomorrow. Tomorrow, but next Tuesday at 7 p.m., same time. And make sure you guys go on our social media and share your insight, share your feedback on our conversational piece tonight about My Soul is Tied. Share your insight, give us your feedback, and make sure you contact us and let us know, what do you gain from it? How do you feel about it? And we look forward to seeing you all again, same place, same time, next Tuesday at 7 p.m., the Celetha Riley Show, where we will continue to bring you great conversational pieces to strengthen the family dynamics, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, in all aspects of life, because God truly wants us all to have a healing in our souls so the magnificent you can surely come through. Be blessed, everyone, and I shall see you all again. Good night.
We're so glad you had the opportunity to join us with our inspiring conversational pieces that are motivational and will continue to push you in your faith, build your family dynamics, health and wellness, financial freedom, all of those beautiful things. To stay connected with us, make sure you visit our website at dcriley.tavalifestyle.com, or you can send us an email at dcrileyministry@gmail.com. We look forward to you all joining us again on next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Enjoy your evening and make sure you stay empowered.
You're listening to Jerry Roycelive-worldwide podcast.